Were you, or were you not, on a gay cruise?
No, you're 120% dick fit.
Everybody at that age, they're sperminator.
Yeah.
We don't care about anything else. We're walking hard on looking for a hole.
That's. I have to say you're right on that one. Oh, my God.
A stiff breeze comes through the room, and you return the favor.
Got her in. Oh. Somewhere on the outside of this building, there is a hole where squirrels come in.
Better than a hole where dicks come in.
Yeah, better than that.
Going down the stairs to wash the laundry. What the hell? Shh. Pizza. Stop it now. I order you to stop. I'm still touching myself.
Yeah!
All young bitches want to do is pop pills, smoke weed, get drunk, lay around, suck dick, eat hot Cheetos, charge they phone, get a sew and weave, twerk, be bisexual, eat McDonald's, wash they pussy in the sink, lie, take selfies, and talk shit through Wi-Fi because they phone never on.
I think washing they pussy in the sink is my favorite part. The Vietnamese trade in dongs. Figuratively and literally, I'm sure.
Oh, my God, that's hilarious.
I did decide to look it up. 500,000 dongs is a good night for Pop's ex.
Like most women, he's an emotional thinker.
Good God.
I mean, that's part of the problem we're having now in our society is we have a bunch of emotional thinkers that want the world to, to fall in line with their emotions. That's not... look, reality doesn't give a shit about emotions.
It's my lived truth. Fuck your lived truth.
No, it's not. It's your perspective.
Kiss my ass.
Literally like, hey, Sergeant Pop, you got to turn your bear suit. I'm like, over my dead body. No. Just give me a statement of charges. Yeah. You're never getting this back. Yeah. You can suck it.
I'm going to wear this with my Russian coat.
you will bury me in this. Hey! Why you got to fucking be like that, man?
Because I'm an asshole, and I learned from the best. I'm sitting across from him, and I'm pointing at you with all four fingers.
All right, first of all, the Russian jacket is World War II surplus.
I'll send you a picture of it, Sarge.
Yeah, okay.
I got you standing wearing it with holding two giant buckets like you just collected all the chum from behind the dump dumpster at the bar and you're going to go home and make ice cream out of it.
What's up, you crazy bastages? You goddamn savages! Terrence Pop here with another episode of Live from Lair. All right, and today we're going to be talking about the swamp and its effects on all of us and how we are indirectly being brainwashed and controlled to an ever shrinking amount. I mean, increasing amount. What I mean by shrinking, I mean our freedom is slowly evaporating away. And we will find ourselves very soon if we don't take steps to fix this. Having your local government and every government above them the ability to instantly shut off your money. All right? We have all kinds of laws on the books, but we have all of the corporations in America are basically collecting and selling your data, which is illegal, and it's still happening. We've got virtually every corporation in the United States issuing or giving away your information without a warrant simply because an alphabet agency called them and asked for it. All right. This is becoming a huge problem. And when I talk about the swamp, you have the guys at the top who get elected. And, you know, over the past 200 plus years, we set up infrastructure and people get appointed to run bureaucracies and what have you. They're not elected. But right now, we have a huge amount of these people who are basically appointed, who are making up rules and regulations, which are not laws, that are tanking and destroying people's lives and businesses. To include banks, debanking people for nothing. And we have a little bit of experience with this here at Redonkulas when PayPal debanked me, Blake, and his wife 2 years ago. Never got any kind of explanation why. Just, we'll never do business with you again. That was very generic. And since it's PayPal, I really didn't, I used them to a certain extent, but it really wasn't like a huge crippling blow. But if it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone out there. And we need to bring this to everyone's attention because we have people calling the shots, making decisions about your life who have absolutely no authority to do so whatsoever. If anything that happens that screams the death of freedom, that is it right there. Because now, not only do we have to deal with tyrants at the very top, we have to deal with tyrants all the way down to the lowest goddamn levels, to include your school board, the PTA, whatever you want to call them. From that level all the way up to the top, you have micro goddamn just tyrants willing to fuck your life up over nothing. Karens, Kens, you call them whatever you want. But this is ridiculous. It is out of control, and it needs to be nipped in the bud, in my opinion. Tonight, we've got Battle Dwarf and Jimmy on station. We're expecting somebody to call in who is a victim of the debanking thing. If she can't call in, I got it. She's busy. But in a couple weeks, apparently she's going to be up here in Michigan filming, and hopefully I'll be able to give her some assistance if she needs it, because I live here in Michigan, and I know people, and so does Battle Dwarf. He and I are quite connected.
I am the finder of the people and the arranger of the things.
And I will keep an eye out for the guest if she does decide to show up, and I will bring her in as soon as she does.
Do that. With some luck, that will happen. This all stemmed from something that happened to me exactly 1 week ago. I was coming home from Pops, heading back upstate where I live, about an hour away, and I stopped off to grab a six of cider so that when I got home, I could have a cider, sit on the couch, and relax for a second. And I'm at a Speedway gas station. Now, I clearly am no longer in my 20s. I can handle that. I'm fine with that. Guy says, I need your ID. I'm like, okay, I'll humor you, kid. He's like 22, 23, maybe, this guy. And I handed and he scans it. I looked at him. And I said, are you aware that you just committed a felony crime? He says, I beg your pardon. I said, you, as the employee of Speedway, and Speedway as a private company, have no right to my data. Why did you do that? And he says, well, I have to. If I don't do that, I'll get fired. I said, well, young man, you should probably think about it and understand what it is that they're telling you to do for what is probably a minimum wage job. I didn't say that part. I said, you need to think about that. And I explained the basic law behind private data and what companies are allowed to collect. Speedway has no reasonable cause to take all of your data that the DMV has on you, which in many of our cases goes back decades and decades.
Yeah.
What does Speedway need all that data for when the kid can read my authenticated, watermarked Michigan driver's license, see that my birthday was half a century ago, and say, okay, here's your beer. Have a nice night.
Yeah.
Now, Speedway and a lot of other businesses are doing this. They think that they have some kind of a right to that. I'm going to bring this one up first since our guest hasn't squeaked in just yet. Where am I? Oh, I know what to do. Hang on. I'm having an idiot moment. I'll be fine. All
right. Here we go.
There we go. Scanning of driver's licenses causes privacy concerns for some. You fucking think.
Hang on.
Go.
All right. How many times in the past 5-10 years have you had a story come across the news where there's a huge data breach? It's happening at virtually every cell phone company. It's happening with Apple, Microsoft, who you would think, because they make the software, they make the computers, they would be able to protect their own data, which they can't. In fact, I know if I go on the dark web, there's about 3 or 4 different sites where I could type in my information. My shit's even out there. And if my stuff is floating around there in the dark web, more than likely, so is yours. If you have a FICO score, a credit rating score higher than 600, you are rife to be scammed and have shit stolen from you.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Now in Naples, Florida, this dates back to 2019, so this has been going on for a minute. It just so happened that I stopped in at that Speedway. Typically, I don't go into any of the corporate stores for anything anymore. I don't even get groceries at a corporate store anymore. I get all of my groceries from local farms, local markets,
mom and pop
stores. I don't shop at the corporate stores because I don't want to give them any money, and most of their product is garbage. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I pay $4.60 a pound for beef right now and eat steak whenever the hell I want because I buy a whole quarter of a cow at a time.
You're a fucker.
I am a fucker.
Yeah.
But you can come over for steaks, fucker. You have that advantage. Naples, Florida. This is 2019. Fox 4 has some interesting video going undercover to videotape a 76-year-old man attempting to buy cigarettes at his local Walgreens. Even though he's clearly over the age of 18, he is asked to hand over his driver's license to prove it. The license is then scanned with the same scanner the cashier uses to check out customers. So, a First Amendment attorney and professor at Florida Gulf Coast University says that the stores do not have a right to do this. It's not only against federal law, which I know to be true, but the only reason to scan a license is to gather more information besides the age. Your age is printed on there. They can read it and see the age. They don't need to scan. They don't need your information. They have no right.
Well, first of all, when you walk in and you got a gray goatee, you know you're older than 21. Instantly. Sorry.
I'm hurt. I'm going to go home and cry.
Well, I guess. I mean, I'm over 50.
I'm going to go cry myself to sleep.
Cry yourself to sleep.
I'm a huge pillar.
You got a mangasso head. It's like an orange on a toothpick.
It's got its own planetary system. Anyway, it's not only Safeway doing this. There are other stores out there. Every time these stores scan your license, your identification, anything like that, that's what they're doing, is harvesting all of your information and creating profiles of you. And we're just allowing this. And this takes us into the real serious part of the problem here, where corporations are forming their own micro governments.
Yeah. And guess what? Every one of those micro governments is going to wind up being run by a tyrant.
Yes.
Because power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
And we are living in the age of the HR department.
Oh my God.
There was, when I was a kid, until I was like 25, there was no such thing as an HR department.
Stand by. That's going in the book. I got to write that down.
The age of HR?
Age of HR. That's going to be a beautiful show.
human resources, and I'm just going to say this, and I don't care, is a career field that I'll bet if I did a deep dive, I would discover is created by women of a mid-grade IQ for women with a mid-grade IQ so that they could have a job, because there's no way anybody would hire them as anything other than a cashier or maybe a parking lot attendant on a good day. HR is the most useless field ever. You're a parts manufacturer for an automotive company, and you have to manufacture a specific part to specific tolerances using CAD machines and stuff like that. The guy who owns the shop or runs the shop, the chief engineer, whatever you want to call him, he should be doing the hiring. Now it's HR departments. The HR departments do the hiring, and what do? They screen out any white, straight, Christian male. They do. You can go see the hiring policies at a lot of corporations now.
And that's why there's so many DEI lawsuits flying around.
And that's why an airplane in Seattle, the nose erupted into sparks and flame on the runway just a couple hours ago.
Oh, really?
I caught the headline briefly, yeah.
Oh.
The passengers are like running off the airplane, and the front end of the plane's going...
There was also a FedEx plane overseas that the nose landing gear failed to deploy.
Oh, that's fun.
Well, that was
I
fun.
have been on a plane where the nose landing.
Welcome to the age diversity hires where the best guy is the C+ dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
DEI equals didn't earn it.
Now, I'm going to be honest here.
Go for it.
In the military, the 80% answer was always the proper answer. Because if I needed to call in fire for effect and I'm 80% correct, I'm going to get you.
In theory.
In theory. But in the real world, where you got to tighten stuff down to certain torque specs and you got to have certain stuff or otherwise people die, you might not want to hire a bunch of C+ sons of bitches, because that's how you kill a whole bunch of people with a stupid mistake that shouldn't have happened. So there you go. All right.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm looking to see if there is traffic from our would-be.
Oh,
and up.
She is.
There we go.
She is.
Bring
Hang
her
on.
in.
Let me get rid of that screen there. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Redonkulas Regiment. She's been doing documentaries for quite a while. I've been following her for years now. She just did one on the whole Whitmer snatch debacle that drew her all kinds of unwanted attention. Welcome and thanks for coming. And this is Terrence Pop, Redonkulas Regiment.
Hi. Hello.
All right. So
Jimmy Bones.
Before we get into this, you're doing a documentary on the whole craziness thing that happened here in Michigan?
Yes, on the Governor Whitmer kidnap plot.
All right. I've been brought up to speed on your debanking situation. We watched your video right before the show came on. And
yes.
if you have any links to any GoFundMe or Give Send Go or anything like that, send them to us an email.
Send them to me.
Send them to Steve. We will put them in the chat of all our videos. We are streaming to 6 platforms now, not just YouTube and Rumble.
Oh my goodness.
Actually, we have 7. We
7.
Have,
How do you keep
is it,
track of them all?
We're crazy like that.
I got a good crew that's willing to assist, because I really have no money. I pay everyone in gratitude, because so far this organization, Redonkulas, which operates under a nonprofit second-class citizen,
We're debanked.
Well, we were debanked.
Oh no.
We were debanked by PayPal, but we do comedy to stop men from committing suicide, and we're up to 546 dudes saved in the past 15 years.
Wow. PayPal's horrible. I'm also not allowed to be on PayPal. So I feel the pain.
Give the audience the basic rundown of what happened to you yesterday.
Oh my gosh. So I'll give a rundown of the entire situation. There's a lot has gone on. So I'll give the rundown of like what happened. So we have a business account with Bank of America that we've had for like 7 years.
Jesus.
And never had any issues with it. And I heard about what they were doing to the J6ers. Like, I remember reading about Bank of America decided to proffer information about them to the government without the government even having to come to them with a warrant, right? That there existed this relationship there. And it was in my mind that I needed to switch banks. But I have so much stuff going on and I'm so busy. It just like wasn't on the priority list. So anyways, needless to say, we had the account for a long time. And the way that this happened, like nobody contacted me, nobody from the bank reached out. The card just stopped working, the bank card. And then I tried to log into the online banking, couldn't log in. My username, it said like didn't exist. So I'm like, what is going on? Go down to the bank, to the physical branch location. And then they tell me,
Yep.
You saw the video where they say that the risk department has made a decision to, quote, sever the business relationship. And they don't tell you why. She put me in the back and put me on the phone with the risk department because, like, I understand the branch employees. They're not making these decisions. They probably don't, like, she probably doesn't know why this is happening. So I get on the phone with the risk department and they don't give me any information either.
Okay.
Like, they wouldn't tell me what happened, why they made the decision. They wouldn't even say how much money I had in the account.
Well, just a ballpark.
At that moment.
That's illegal.
Oh, first of all, just a ballpark. How much do you have in the account? Just a ballpark?
Well, there was a substantial amount that I was like waiting to go through. I had a check waiting to clear at that point, but not a lot. I mean,
I gotcha.
you know, I don't keep a lot of money in there anyways. We use it mainly to pay bills that we know are coming up and like that we have every single month, and we have a lot of auto pays set up. So
okay, suffice to say, it was significant to you.
Yeah, of course. Well, obviously, you're in independent journalism and filmmaking, and you're like mostly self-funding. Every amount matters. You know, every little bit is significant.
Are you talking to an attorney right now?
No.
Okay.
I don't really. I haven't. I don't know if like what is going to come of pursuing it because they've done this to so many people.
Radix, I work in law as it is. I was in corporate and now I do some personal injury law, but I can tell you right now that this is a RICO case.
Really?
It crosses state lines. Their headquarters is in North Carolina. You are not in North Carolina. They're doing this to multiple people. The Kansas City Attorney General has a case against them. And there are multiple other cases against Bank of America for exactly this behavior.
What about tortious interference?
That could be tortious interference as well. It crosses state lines, and it is an obvious conspiracy to deprive people of their rights.
Well, and so weird things have happened too. Like, they indicated on the phone to me. So after this blew up on Twitter, which it has, and I had no idea that was going to happen, Bank of America started calling the phone, and they indicated that like their executives are looking into it, but then they also said other parties were involved and they wouldn't say who the other parties were.
Stop right there.
Wait. Oh. I want this one.
Okay.
Give me. All right. Give me.
Take it.
So, Radix, we live in Michigan. Your other party is Dana Nessel's office. I will I will bet you a steak dinner on it. She is allegedly known to be a mean, vindictive drunk.
Well, I know she's a nasty individual, that's for sure.
Yeah, she is known. She is allegedly known. I'm going to throw the word allegedly in there, to be a mean, vindictive drunk. I'm connected to our county politics, and I know a lot of our representatives, and I talk to them. I know a couple of people who went to school with Whitmer. There are other rumors out there that are also true.
You talking about the stretching part?
No, why wouldn't you?
No.
That stop? That's cruel.
Okay, I gotcha.
Anyway, your other party in this is, I would bet you a steak dinner that your other party is Dana Nessel's office.
Correct.
I have no idea. The whole thing has been super weird. The way that the whole thing happened and their refusal to give even now any information, even though they've been calling and they claim they're like investigating this and whatnot, and that
This
it's
is
been
my advice.
escalated to their executives.
This is my advice to you when they call you.
Yes.
You answer the phone, be polite, be nice, and then you say, well, I'm basically talking to some lawyers. Be prepared for a lawsuit and motions for discovery. And we're putting you on warning right now not to delete information, texts, what have you.
Okay, I have to stop you.
All right.
First of all, I'm not an attorney.
We're not attorneys. I'm just saying that's something you can't say.
I'm a paralegal, which means I'm the guy who writes all of the paperwork.
Yes.
But I am around it enough to know that you need to have your lawyer first before you can start saying stuff like that.
Fair enough.
Otherwise, they'll run you over like a Mack truck. I would just simply tell them, thank you for the information. I will be speaking to an attorney.
Correct.
And leave it at that. And then let the attorney, but he's right about the discovery.
Yeah.
That's what will come next. You get an attorney, you go through the discovery process, and they have to give you every communication regarding that suspension of your account.
Yeah, and they'll try to settle immediately.
Oh yeah, they will.
They'll like that because they don't want to do the discovery because it's going to point to a smoking gun.
Well, it's so weird because they have now restored the account. I shit you not.
No, when did that happen?
Well, I was informed just today that was done while they're investigating, while the executives, quote unquote, are investigating. I asked if law enforcement was involved and they said no. But they also said other parties were.
I'm telling you,
I don't know if there were other parties investigating. It's just really bizarre. The whole thing has been really weird.
Well, we've been canceling people's, freezing accounts for like drug dealers and stuff for decades.
I was involved in some of that when I was in the military.
But the thing is,
your money.
If there was not a Department of Justice subpoena or order or warrant or whatever from a federal court, and these banks are, debanking without any of those, that's a huge big no.
Yeah, we were going after the North Korean counterfeiters in 2000 and 2001. They're the ones who created the super note, the $100 bill that you couldn't tell the difference between ours.
Oh, I remember that. Okay.
Yeah, I was on that crew, and we were basically hopping from country to country, nailing down their banks, and we had to have permission from the DOD and the State Department to freeze those North Korean accounts in those foreign banks. So for Bank of America to arbitrarily do this to a citizen who has no criminal record, while terrorists require DOJ and State Department permission.
Wow.
You see where I'm going.
Wild.
Do they debank child molesters?
No.
All right.
Really?
Yeah. Listen, there's mass murderers
Oh,
out there.
this is so bizarre. Yeah. I mean, it's just like really insane. And I honestly don't think that they would have restored the account had this not blown up on them.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
And because it is a big deal, by the way, debanking is insane. It's a really horrible thing to do to people because everybody has to transact business.
It's
and
an
they're
ideological weapon.
Yes.
Everybody has to pay bills, sort of like utilities. Like you can't take away somebody's ability to do that. It's not really right. And my concern too is that they're pushing us really hard to move into a cashless society. They really want central bank digital currencies. And my concern is that this kind of thing is going to be more. It's going to be a lot easier for them, but they can just flick a switch and shut off your ability to do anything. Like,
correct.
You know what I mean? That's what they want. Like that is the goal.
Exactly what they're doing. They already have it in China. It's partially in place in Korea, from what I understand.
They have it in Canada.
Canada is close.
Yeah,
not quite there yet.
There's a whole ass load of guys who had their bank accounts shut down for driving in that convoy.
The convoy, yeah,
the Ottawa. the Ottawa truckers. But this all emanates from Davos and the WEF. This all of this debanking and centralized cash thing is coming out of them. They're the little think tank for this, which means that all of our governments are dancing to the tune of a privately funded, privately owned organization in a foreign country. There's a definition for that, and the word is treason. And in the United States, it's 18 U.S. Code 2381. That's going way further down the rabbit hole that we're in right now with debanking, but that's the direction that it ends up going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your account is restored now.
So that's what they say. My account is now quote unquote restored, but I'm not going to be staying there. That doesn't change what happened.
No.
The only reason that they did that is because so much heat is on them right now for the debanking, and they don't get away with it by after the fact, when they've been embarrassed so much restoring it. They weren't going to do that. Like when I was in there and physically in the bank, nobody would give me any information. They wouldn't tell me why this decision had been made after 7 years and having no issues. And if an issue had occurred, why somebody at the bank didn't just call me or like reach out to me, which would be like what they normally do. Because they were trying to tell me that they were like, today they're trying to say they were concerned about like possible fraudulent activity, but not coming from me, they said. And it's like, what?
Oh, right.
Then from who and from what? And they won't.
Yeah,
they wouldn't tell me.
Again, I was operating against a terrorist government and still needed DOJ permission to do that kind of thing.
The minute they said that to you, then they probably generated a suspicious activity report, because I believe every bank is required to fill one of those out,
and it goes right to DHS.
And it goes. FBI. So now you have if they did that, now you're on a criminal bad boy database.
Wow.
She's already there. I guarantee.
Oh, I figure I'm already there just for other reasons.
So Redix, one of the things that I know from corporate law is what probably happened here, given the description you've given me, is some mid-level manager at the headquarters in North Carolina went and saw the initial, oh my gosh, I've been debanked from you, and went, she's nobody, forget it. And it blew up in their faces, and somebody higher than that mid-level manager called him into the office and put him on the carpet and said, "What hast thou done, and why hast thou fuckest our shit?"
Yeah.
And that guy had to backpedal and undo all of the things that he had done, but now they can't unring the bell.
Nope.
Right. And I also recorded numerous conversations prior to today. Like yesterday, I was on the phone with their customer service people in their risk department again, and I recorded like a 5-minute conversation where they were incredibly rude to me, wouldn't give me any information about. They were telling me that the account had been terminated. I said, why? They said, Bank of America reserves the right to terminate and sever the business relationship at any point for whatever reason. We don't have to give a reason. That's in the terms of service. And so that's literally like the canned response that they give you, is that that is part of their terms of service, is that they reserve the right to terminate the relationship at any point without having to give a reason. So they were telling me that. They wouldn't tell me how much money was in the account at that time. And then they wouldn't tell me when. They said I was going to get a quote check in the mail, and they would not give me a time frame of like when I could expect that.
There's a word for that. It's called theft.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was what they were initially doing. They were holding my funds. And then obviously it blew up on them, and somebody else is involved now. And they're like, well, I guess we can't do that. This looks really bad. We better try to cover it, sweep it up, before it gets any worse for us.
I was going to remind you to screenshot everything, but I don't need to do that. I have seen the quality of your work already. I'm sure you've got all of that covered.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, well, first of all, banks have to have FDIC insurance from the Fed.
Yep.
Without that, they pretty much cannot do business. So we need to start pressuring our lawmakers to put some laws on the books for these banks, that if they're going to debank people, that's fine. You have the right to do business with whoever you wish. But now the federal government is going to pull your FDIC insurance. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
I wonder how that would
Everyone would,
because the
there'd be a
Fed
run on that
would-
bank. Everyone would jump ship. They'd go out of business over fucking night.
Well, in these banks, like Bank of America, they are predatory institutions that have been, given taxpayer money. Like they've all been too big to fail. They get their little bailouts, back in 2008 when everybody else had their homes being foreclosed on and they didn't get bailed out. No, these banks do. And then they turn around and they want to debank the American people who bailed them out. That's ridiculous and disgusting.
Yeah,
Correct.
That's exactly what's going on. And it's, for the record, it is not the little peons that are in the banks. I'm sure you know this, but I want everybody out there to hear it. It's not the little peons behind the counter. Leave those poor people alone. It's the mid-level managers. It's the guys. It's the HR department. It's the people who cross-dress and have blue hair in the marketing department and the legal department in North Carolina at their headquarters that are doing this. So cut the poor guy behind the desk a little bit of slack. I watched your video. I know you did that. That was very classy.
Yeah, I don't know if I would
Very
be that
classy.
gracious. I would be a rage fucking asshole.
You're an asshole.
Oh no. Well, I mean,
You're Green Beret veteran, Ferrex.
I'm a really nice lady. I try to be nice to everybody except the FBI. If I think you're a bad person and that you've done something wrong, then I will come at you hard. But generally, I'm a pretty nice person.
I had the FBI show up at my door. I laughed at them and told them to go away.
Oh yeah, I've been notified by the FBI as well. So,
well, I'm sure I have my assigned federal agent listening.
I know you do. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that you do, but I'm sure that you do because of what you did, especially with the
and like
the Whitmer thing.
In all honesty, like if I was to come across information for some crazy mass casualty attack, I would hand it over because I don't want to see innocent people get killed.
I know who I would hand it over to, though. I wouldn't go to the federal government.
But for the most part,
the county.
For the most part, I'm staying away from that crap. I'm just reporting, in an indirect way here on the show, so everyone who watches this can be educated on exactly what's taking place. Because we're not hearing about this in mainstream media because they've been bought and paid for.
Yeah, your story caught like wildfire, Redix. It really took off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, and it's so weird too. It is an injustice, and like they did this to one of Trump's lawyers, John Eastman, just recently. It was Bank of America and USAA. Them too, they debanked him, and so like little Radix Verum with a less than 14,000 follower YouTube channel, small independent filmmaker and journalist is getting the treatment of like a Trump lawyer. And that's where you go, okay, that's weird, right? Why am I being treated like I'm this big threat to these people?
The mistake they made in this case, I think, is that generally speaking, and that I know of, you are well liked and respected in the interwebs community. And when everybody saw that happening to you, they're like, oh no, they did.
Oh no, they did.
Oh, yeah,
That's so funny.
I mean, from the moment you put that first, I think it was, I saw it on Nice Crew.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it first on Nice Crew. Mm-hmm. From the moment you put that out, and it had like a 45 seconds ago timer on it, to an hour later, it was like everywhere. And I'm like, oh, this is blowing up. And Pop and I had already planned this show a week before because of what had happened to me at a Speedway station a week ago, a week ago today. So this is pure coincidence.
You dropped right in our lap.
And you dropped right into our lap with this one. We're like, oh, I wonder if she'll, and you responded yes. And we're grateful that you did come on the show. We appreciate the hell out of that. And listen,
I'm serious about helping you out.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be out of town until like towards the end of the month. But after that, I mean, I'm retired. I have time during the day. I grew up here in this state. I know people.
Oh, with the Michigan thing. Yeah.
Steve knows people. You're going to be here for what, 2 weeks filming or what?
Yeah, I'm going to be there if I raise enough, and I think I will. I'm going to be there for an entire week. I'll be going from Jackson County all the way up by Lake Antrim County. So I'm going to be going around the whole various locations of
What is
interest.
this
we'll just
particular
say.
one for?
I don't want to put information out there because it is for the documentary. I don't want to give away anything,
That's
and
fine.
I don't want
Do me a favor.
I don't want to advertise to the feds.
Do me a favor. Hit me privately because
Okay.
I have a Rolodex that I can hand you. I will just facilitate for you,
Yes.
and then you can do what you do. I'll just put the people in front of you.
I mean,
Oh, that would be great.
and
That
if
would
worse
be
comes to
great.
worse, we might be able to put you up in a GP medium tent or something.
I got room for an
Listen.
RV on my property. I got a little farm up in Lapeer.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's
Happy. Get
gonna
yourself
be
an RV. We'll take
when
care of
you're filming. I mean, it is like insane. We go all day, and it's like everything is just a rush. If there's
Like
something
combat.
that can go wrong, it does. It takes hours to set up. Although this shoot is going to be a little bit different than the other ones we've done, but I'm not going to say what we're doing, but it should be a little bit easier for us, and we should have more mobility,
can't
which
tell
is
you
going to be good.
about haywire antics like that, other than at one point in time, a group of guys may or may not have convinced DOD that we had to operate out of a resort hotel suite in order to collect specific information in Southeast Asian islands.
Sounds about right.
But what you
That-
just
that might have
described is like any
We do
war
that all the time.
scenario.
Yeah.
Like every day you get up in Iraq in a war zone, your day is just like that.
Yeah.
Except people might die.
I have been setting up antennas to do surveillance work and had from behind me, I turn around, there's like 6 goats. I'm like, really? So yeah, we know what you're describing. You're doing it from the documentary standpoint, but the same
Yeah.
frenetic pace and movement is
Oh my
very,
gosh.
very
It's
familiar to us.
exhausting. Every
Yes.
time I go, like, I hate doing the traveling and stuff, but you know, once I've done it and I come back, it's like that whole week I'm just like mentally gone.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have to recover.
so, but you're following your passion in this, correct? This is what
Yes.
you love doing.
Of course.
Well, there you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I have a lot of hope now that things are gonna that we're gonna be getting good news. I've been thinking it for a while. So just to give a rundown, you know, as you guys know, we have 5 men that were acquitted in the Fednapping hoax. We also have 5 men currently incarcerated, 2 in Supermax prison, 3
Yes.
men are in federal BOP facilities across the country, although they were only charged with state charges in Michigan for providing material support. On the eve of their appeals, they were transferred to different facilities across the country, the federal facilities, and the government still hasn't said why they did that.
Well,
Right now, hearings are being held about bringing those guys back to Michigan.
All right, now
That's
the
sick.
reason they do that, just so you know, is when you get transferred, they throw away all your shit. So if they have any paperwork, anything like that, it's very hard to move up to another location.
Mhm.
So literally, they say, pack up your shit. You get like 1 bag of stuff. It's like flip flops, shoes, and maybe some clothing.
Maybe a journal and a
May-
pencil.
If
you're lucky.
lucky, and everything else gets left behind.
Yeah.
And they're like, and they lie to you, and they go, "Oh, we'll send it to your new facility." That almost never fucking happens.
No, it doesn't happen. And like they so they have done other things too since I started, you know, I write to the guys and I'm in, you know, very frequent communication with them. I'll put money on their commissary. I send them books sometimes. I had to get the guys Michigan law books because they had no access to a Michigan law library to prepare for their appeals.
We'll put that on our site
Yeah.
too.
Because we have a guy that's been on our show who's in the system right now, and I put money on his commissary, and I talk to him about 2 or 3 times a month.
Yeah, I just think it's insane that they can do this on the eve of their appeals, that they can move these guys across the country like this. And then they do things like they say, oh, now we're going to, after I sent the guys books, they go, now we're instituting a 5-book policy. So you're only allowed to have 5 books now. And then they take the rest of their books. Why are they doing that? Why are they taking their books from the
Radix,
prisoners?
here's the problem. You're thinking as a rational, normal, and kind-hearted person. What
Yep.
you're dealing with is Bolsheviks. They love to psychologically abuse people. They revel in it. These guys are being absolutely psychologically abused in whatever system that they're in right now.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And it is an institutionalized process. Pop and I have both been through little micro versions of it. When we were in the military, we had to go through SEER, the Survival, Escape, Resistance, Evasion course, where they treat you like a POW. These guys are living that way.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
Year 1 and 2.
I just
They also told them they were going to take their legal documents and that they were going to be kept in a locked closet, and that if the guys wanted access to their legal documents, they were going to have to ask a prison official to go get it, but that they weren't allowed to keep their legal documents in their cells.
That is absolutely okay.
This is disgusting that this is happening.
This is what's happening. Okay, they do not want these people to interact with the outside world.
Yes,
they know there's going to be a lot of backlash. Yeah. So they're making up these bullshit rules. They're putting up obstacles. They're moving people around like 3-shell Monty.
Yep,
all over the country. Now, there's going to need to be a legal team that's going to need to step in on behalf of these prisoners and start filing, lawsuits with the federal government, and probably, try to get a judge to go on board and say, yeah, let's move these guys into one area, or those stupid rules need to go away, because they deserve the right to.
Why is Judge Wilson, for example, right now, Judge Wilson, who oversaw the first state case against Joe Morrison, Pete Musico, and Paul Bellar in Jackson County, where all 3 of those guys were convicted in less than 4 hours. But anyways, that's besides the point. Judge Wilson was a judge there. Why is he the judge now? They're appealing his rulings. Why is he the judge of the appeals process? I'm not understanding why.
That is insane. That
this is happening.
He must recuse.
That's right.
Well, that's what I don't get. I don't understand the Michigan process or how this works, but they were telling Paul he had to exhaust something called the Court of Claims or something. Do you know what this is?
There's a process that you go through. Yeah.
So they're saying he has to go through this process through this Court of Claims, and they're having Judge Wilson, who was the one over. He's appealing Judge Wilson's rulings. Why is he doing that to Judge Wilson here? None of this makes sense to me.
Radix,
Judge Wilson also.
If you have that part written down about having to appeal the claims, whatever that was.
Court of Claims.
Send that over to me, and I have access to like Lexus. All that good stuff.
The guy that we have that's in prison right now. All right, he actually has a job working in the law library now. There's no restrictions on him typing up his appeals or whatever he has to do.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, he's doing literally. The dude is a school trained engineer who worked in the field for about a decade. And he spent 5 years in Wayne County without a trial. And while he was in there, he said, all right, he went to the law library, he read all the books, he fills out all his own paperwork. I mean, in all reality, he could probably get out of there and go to law school at this time.
Right.
He has over half a decade worth of experience.
Wow.
This brings up a glaring point. This guy's in for a felony. The Whitmer's snatch debacle guys that I know of committed no violent acts at all.
None.
They do not have any of the privileges that this guy has, and they committed lesser crimes overall.
It's so gross. Like Adam and Barry right now are in Florence Supermax. Adam had 0 criminal record before the FBI framed him as the ringleader in this. And he could be there for 16 years. Barry could be there for 19 and a half years. Barry is and Barry is a 50-year-old truck driver from Delaware, father of 3. He's got little girls who are at the age right now where they need their father. And it's really disturbing. You know, when they first, when I was interviewing them right after they'd been convicted in their retrial, because the first federal trial ended, as you guys know, with 0 convictions for the government. Brandon and Daniel were acquitted. So Adam and Barry, they had to retry them separately, just the 2 of them. So they retried them. And this was after their conviction in the retrial. They were convicted after the, jury initially had a mistrial on them in the first trial. In the retrial, which went very horribly, as you know, and that's all being appealed, they were convicted. So I'm interviewing them after their conviction in the retrial, prior to their sentencing. Okay. And we're doing what I call the prison interviews for the documentary, which you'll see in there when it's finished and it comes out.
Here, Christine. All right. Here's another dirty trick that happens with alphabet agencies when they put people in Supermax. They tamper with the paperwork to make it look like the individual's involved in some sex kind of shit, because that is very frowned upon.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yes. No, it will get you killed.
It'll get you killed.
There is a guy in
wow.
California. There's a lifer in California who has killed 3 pedophiles already, and he says, any more that you send in here, I'll kill.
That's right.
That does happen. And I mean, I'm not saying
that.
I had an Army command.
No, but I know what you're saying. I know what you mean,
I don't have any proof that they've done that to these guys.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put it past them. It's just
they do dirty tricks.
I think you missed what I said there. I had an Army command try to do that to me in 2004.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I went after a brigade. I went after a corrupt brigade command.
Really? Oh, wow.
In different ways. I lost a top secret security clearance because of what they did to me.
I think they did that sort of to Joshua Schulte, the alleged Vault 7 whistleblower from the CIA to WikiLeaks that leads all of the CIA's hacking arsenal. They charged him with basically like CME. And it was because he ran a server very similar to kind of like an image board type. It was like a Wild Wild West, like libertarian forum type thing. And there were a lot of people that posted things that were questionable, right? I don't know what the details of it was, but it was not something he himself had posted or that I know was even aware of. They charged him with like child pornography, basically.
They can send guys and go seed that stuff.
I thought, what if they planted that? Exactly. Like he had this open forum, and I just don't, I feel like that guy got railroaded with something like that, because initially I don't think they had enough when they raided him and, were charging him with it. I think they used that as like an additional charge, but that's just a theory. I don't know that for sure. I know
I'm sitting here as a former spook telling you that, yes, you could do that kind of stuff. We had a guy we just called him the Carp. And the Carp went in with us into a particular country, sat down at the back of the warehouse that we were setting up in. A couple of minutes later, walks over, hands us all cell phones. He had hacked that country's cell phone network and given us all cell phone numbers with fake names.
Wow.
And he did it in about 10 minutes.
That's crazy. Yeah. So and look, what we learned from Joshua Schulte too was like that the CIA can put false attributions. They leave like Russian or Iranian or Chinese fingerprints to make it look like something was a Russian hack, hello, ding, ding, 2016 DNC. But anyways, I think he got railroaded like that. But so the guys were in Nuevo County when I had been interviewing them and talking to them. And I asked them, we knew their sentencing was coming up and we were doing the interviews and whatnot. Right before Barry's sentencing, I said, is there any kind of message you want me to get out? This is right before your sentencing. I have a small platform, but I'll do my best. So he said, yes. I published like a 7-minute statement from him. And this was like at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. The next morning at 9 o'clock in the morning at his sentencing, the prosecutor Nils Kessler is quoting Barry from this interview the night before that I put out on my tiny little YouTube channel to call Barry unrepentant and completely radicalized because he, quote, wasn't taking responsibility for the FBI framing and entrapping him. Then he came up with this thing where he called Barry, and we never heard this before throughout the first or second trial at that point. He calls him the spiritual leader of the kidnapping that didn't happen, of this like thing that they called a conspiracy, which wasn't actually a conspiracy except on the part of the government. So he said that Barry was like the blind sheik.
Huh.
When he called him the spiritual leader, he said he was like the blind sheik. And I'm like, Barry?
You know what
from
that is?
Delaware,
I know
who
what that
wears
is.
That's that.
Yeah.
No. I
He
know
was
what's
like-
going on here. We've run into these guys before. Hang on a second, Radix. The guy making the blind sheik reference, was he an FBI guy?
No, that's the prosecutor, Nils
That's the
Kessler.
prosecutor.
He said that
reeks
Barry,
of a wannabe
at his
to me.
sentencing, that he said Barry was the spiritual leader of this fake conspiracy and that he was like the blind sheik. And he also said that when Barry talked about the Constitution and the founding fathers, which are a myth, and I'm like, wait a second. This prosecutor's taken an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. He's calling it a myth. Barry's called a terrorist because he has "We the People" tattooed on his arm, but it's right there in the courthouse where this kangaroo court is happening. And it says it right there. So Barry's a terrorist for having "We the People" tattooed on him. But in the courtroom where they're saying this, they have "We the People" displayed right there with the Constitution. And the prosecutor is calling the founding fathers like a myth. And I'm like, what is going on? They're saying when Barry talked about wanting to restore the Constitution, that this was like ISIS wanting to restore the caliphate. And I'm like, what are they talking about? Barry was trying to start a constitutional school. That was his idea. That was what he was talking about in these meetings. How is this ISIS and the caliphate? But this is what they said. So after their sentencing, and that was when they sentenced him to 19 and a half years, which was strange because prior to that, they had focused on Adam Fox, who was the homeless man living in the basement of the back shack that they called the ringleader. They gave him 16 years the day before, and then they gave Barry more time and called him the spiritual leader. I think that that was retribution because Barry was participating more in the documentary than any of the other guys. So needless to say, Adam and Barry are sentenced. They're currently at Newaygo County, and usually there's a couple weeks right before sentencing to when you're transferred out to the facility you're going to end up in. It usually is about 2.5 weeks. That day after their sentencing, I get statements from them for the weaponization committee. I publish Barry's statement, which is a 4-minute long video, which you can see. It's up on my YouTube channel, where he basically is reading a written statement he wrote to Jim Jordan, to the weaponization committee, asking them to investigate the FBI's actions in his case. Well, I put that out. The next day, Adam and Barry are moved from Newaygo County to Supermax facilities across the country. Adam is sent to Florence. Barry is sent to Terre Haute. When Barry gets to Terre Haute, they start saying, you're going to be going into the CMU, which is the Communications Management Unit, which is something that they had in these Supermaxes, which was for like Islamic terrorists that were created in the wake of 9/11. The CMU was to have somebody monitoring if somebody was speaking like an Arabic, so they could listen to make sure that like some terrorist wasn't ordering some act of terror in like another language. That's why you would have somebody in the Communications Management Unit. Why does 50-year-old Barry from Delaware need to be put in there?
Radix, if you've got a spare day when you come up, I will very quietly introduce you to one of the former NCOICs of Camp X-Ray at Gitmo. He's here too.
Nice.
Anyway, these guys, the way that they're being handled, this again is stock Bolshevism. These people know that they've been caught out. They know that everybody knows that they're lying. They know, and I'm talking about the federal government and the government of the state of Michigan. I will bet you that the Southfield boys, as we call them, which is the feds here, and Nestle's office are collaborating and looking at all of this stuff and making these decisions as split second as they are that you just described right there. There's a whole lot of corruption in this state that a lot of people doesn't even know exist. And what you did was kick the hornet's nest.
Oh, what also happened right after when the guys were moved to Supermax facilities, right after I published their statements for weaponization committee, my house was raided twice.
Nice.
Well, it was quote swatted, but we all know who did it. Okay, let's be real.
What is the weaponization
I was about
committee?
to ask exactly that question.
The weaponization committee, there's a very long name for it. It's like Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government. It is a committee set up by Jim Jordan and several other conservative representatives who were supposed to be investigating the weaponization of the federal government against the American people. Now, the committees initially said it was going to be like the Church Committee 2.0, right? We're going to get to the bottom of weaponization of these intelligence agencies, rogue intelligence agencies. It's done nothing. It's given us the freaking Twitter files and like Hunter Biden nonsense.
Are you able to see our monitors? Are you able to see us? So
I can see you guys. I don't know if I can see your screen.
That's fine. That's all you need to see. You can see me with green background, right?
Yes.
So there's a tradition we have on this show when somebody makes a bunch of statements about an organization that you have just made. This is the bullshit flag. That's for the weaponization committee.
Yeah.
It is a pacifier. It is absolutely a
pacifier. They've not investigated this case at all. I've tried numerous ways to get information to the committee, to reach out to them, to urge them to investigate this case, not only publishing the statements of the guys themselves, but their families, and they haven't done anything. Nobody cares, frankly, about Hunter Biden. Like we all know, the guys okay. We would like to have actual investigations into like the FBI, I don't know, manufacturing a according to them, the greatest domestic terrorism case in a generation.
That's
so
nonsense. One of our viewers over on Rumble, Crusader Knight, just threw up the judiciary.house.gov subcommittees committee-judiciary-118th Congress Select Subcommittee Weaponizations Federal. So the link is over there on Rumble. It just went up a minute ago. If you want to run over and grab that, those of you who are listening, that goes to the link that Radix here is talking about.
Yeah, that's the committee. You can see all of the non-things they've done. They did do one good thing. They brought in some of the FBI whistleblowers and they had like a hearing on that so they could grift and ask for donations based off their little sound bites. And that's what they do. Okay. Like that's what these committees do. That's literally the substance of what it amounts to, is them holding a pretense of a hearing where they make statements, and they'll bring people in, they'll grill them for sound bites, and then there's zero follow-up. Nobody's no recommendations for prosecution follow up with this stuff. It's literally just it's like TV. It's just like Judge Judy or some shit, where it's like not a real courtroom. Like there's nothing real happening.
Judge Judy gets more done. That judgment for $100 the other day, that was a top-notch call. These guys do less.
That's actually a good point, but it's a production, okay? That's put on specifically so these representatives can have their 3-minute long soundbite where they, took somebody at the FBI to task, but that like nothing actually happens.
It's nobody Mel Brooks really. Producers. They do a little Nazi song and dance number. Everybody claps. And they go on.
Yeah, that's what happens, and so I've attended some of these hearings. I was there in person at the FBI whistleblower hearing. I have attended 2 different Bureau of Prison oversight hearings. I was there when the director, Colette Peters, was testifying next to Inspector General Horowitz, where they gave their lies about the Bureau of Prison and their lies about how they were working to reform the BOP. We know they just shut down FCI Dublin, that was dubbed the Rape Club in California. Because a federal judge who is involved in a class action lawsuit against that facility brought in a special master and appointed a special master that was going to oversee reforms to the facility. And it looks like what the BOP decided to do instead was to shut down the facility to prevent actual oversight of an outside independent special master. And I heard from reports, and I've actually talked to somebody who was incarcerated, a January 6er who was there literally for misdemeanors. She herself wasn't sexually assaulted, but she knew women who were. And I've talked to her, and some of these women have said that the staff there at the prison were shredding documents.
No,
the FBI also, the FBI raided FCI Dublin.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to come of that. That is them coming in there to destroy evidence like they did with Jeffrey Epstein and his island. You know, that's what's happening. And
you need to keep an eye on your mailbox for a postcard from one H. Clinton.
No!
If you see that postcard, run. Okay.
But I've attended these oversight hearings and I see how nothing actually happens. And nobody at that oversight hearing, the last one with Director Peters there, with Horowitz, not one person asked about the Whitmer guys and what's been happening to them while their appeals are ongoing and how the BOP has interfered in their ability to do so. For example, the guys with the state charges in Michigan who were sent to federal facilities across the country are unable to meet with their lawyers. Their lawyers are public defenders from Michigan. They're not going to drive, to West Virginia.
Overworked, okay?
Exactly. They're not driving the 5 hours to West Virginia to deal with this shit. So they're not visiting them. They have no access to a Michigan law library, these guys. So I'm sending them law books. They have no access to their transcripts, which they need to prepare for their appeals. And they've had no ability to meaningfully confer with their lawyers.
Wow.
These guys, some of them haven't even talked to their lawyers, or they've talked to them once, like their appeals lawyers, one fucking time. Wow. And I am more informed on the case than some of the lawyers. That is concerning to me. It's bizarre.
That's concerning, period. Don't even pretend that is concerning.
Ambrose is Paul Beller's lawyer. Okay. He's a court appointed lawyer from Michigan. He has made a filing talking about his legal mail to Paul being sent back, returned to sender from the BOP. And they claim they don't do that because, well, I don't want to get into that particular story I was going to get into. That has to be saved for the documentary. But they claim they don't interfere in their appeals, but that they also don't have an obligation to help facilitate them, essentially. So they say at the prison they don't have to help these guys participate in the legal system, basically.
Well, there's no other way for them to participate in the legal system.
Well, there's a difference between...
Exactly. Like, if they can't talk to their lawyers legal mail is being returned, so these guys aren't getting their transcripts to prepare for their appeals, but they're not getting their appeals pushed back, to give them the opportunity to do this. And also, when Ambrose calls, when the lawyers are calling and they're supposed to have attorney-client privilege phone calls, the call is being monitored by a quote-unquote third party. Now, this is in court filings from Paul's case where his lawyer is saying, my mail is being returned, my privileged phone calls are being monitored by a third party. We all know who that is. It's the FBI. And these lawyers are being surveilled and like monitored by the FBI. You think they're going to be interested in really pursuing them? The people who they know are monitoring them, they're terrified of the feds. These lawyers are scared, you know, and so they don't do anything. They're pretty much useless because they're all kind of cowardly, in my opinion.
No, yeah, that's actually.
And you know, too, that there are things they could be doing where they could be pursuing things further about bringing the guys back so they can participate in their appeals. It's just, oh, we have a hearing set up and we have a conversation about why the government moved them in the first place. Still haven't gotten an answer. No answer about when they're going to come back. Oh, now they're going to pursue getting a writ. Oh, so they're going to now try to force them to comply. How's that going to go? They're going to just get thrown in the hole when they get to Michigan? Am I going to still be able to contact them? Like, it's just all very stressful.
So
and these people are bad, and they are purposefully.
A lot of FBI cases, Reddix, and all of these things is stock FBI tactics. They rely heavily on intimidation. They love to.
Yeah, this is like COINTELPRO stuff.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is, actually. When they're doing this, if they cannot keep up that facade, if they go up against somebody or some bodies who are persistent and keep going and keep pushing through, it does eventually break because they can only play the same audio track so many times, if you know what I mean. You see it in movies. The best episode is, or the best example of it was in True Lies, where Schwarzenegger. Have you seen True Lies?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I'm sure I have.
Where Arnold Schwarzenegger has the tape recorder and he's playing the guy's voice and trying to get his wife to dance.
Yeah.
And he accidentally gets stuck. That's what happens with the FBI. They can only play their audio track so many times before it gets stuck and people see it. They're counting on everybody folding and everybody capitulating before that happens because they know that what they're doing is illegal.
Yeah, I think that's true. And, you know, I don't think they ever thought that this case was even going to go to trial. I think they thought that these guys were working class men from Michigan who were mostly indigent. I mean, the guy they framed as a ringleader was homeless and living in the basement of the vac shack. I think they thought they could come at them and say, you know, you're facing life in prison and we have a 99% conviction rate. And that these guys would take, you know, their plea deals and be scared and not fight them. Because that's usually exactly what happens. They come in hard and heavy. They do these like tactical paramilitary raids of your house. Yes. They terrify, they do shock and awe, and they make you think that you don't have a chance fighting them in the legal system. Oh, you know, the deck is stacked against you. You better take a plea deal. And even these public defenders, they have such a heavy caseload that they also will tell people, they'll encourage them to fucking plead guilty to something they didn't do so they can have less paperwork to deal with and get rid of it.
It's the
that's
Larson,
very common. That's very common.
Yeah, it's the Glenn Larson cows going to slaughter thing where the cows have shoot A and shoot B, but both go to the slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the illusion. It's the illusion of choice.
Oh, 100%. Moreover, the government is running the entire fucking thing. Like from the whole, so they're doing the investigation, you know, and they're creating the whole case. They set, you know, they take over the militia group. They create fake militia groups. They're calling in the meetings, the FTXs. They're paying for things. Like the FBI is leading that whole thing. Then after they arrest these guys, the FBI like takes lead in prosecuting them. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm sure you guys do. I don't know if your audience does. The FBI actually sits there at the table with the prosecutor, and they are the ones that handle the evidence. Hell, during the last trial, the fourth trial in this case, the second state case, they had Agent Harris putting everybody's exhibits up. He's literally hitting the thing and controlling the projector. And it's like, okay, so the FBI is the ones that try your case. They're sitting there next to the prosecutors. Also, the courts are favorable to the government. Most of these judges were prosecutors. They think and talk and act like federal prosecutors. They're so deferential to the prosecution and to the government, who has every benefit of the doubt, the way that they set everything up. They also pick your jury pool, and then you get to whittle it down. I'm sorry, I don't believe that this is a fair process. I think in the modern age, they choose sort of the pool that they want, then it gets whittled down from there. So the government gets to pick your jury, and then your public defender, which the government gives you, works with the government prosecutor to, quote, whittle it down. And we're told this is now a fair process and a jury, quote, of your peers. And the entire thing's a kangaroo court and process. The judge will then decline all substantive defense motions and grant just a few to make it look like he's being fair, but he denies most of them, the most important ones, and the entire process is a scam.
What would make you delude yourself into thinking that there's anything like a fair process anywhere remotely near any of this?
Yeah. I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
It's always
there's
been
5 innocent men in prison right now. What about that is fair?
Well, yeah.
So, in a fair system, that wouldn't have happened.
Well, we got a whole bunch of J6 people, sitting in federal prison. Some of these guys, from what I hear, have been in like solitary confinement.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a 65-year-old grandmother in prison from J6. All she did was walk into the building. She didn't do anything at all, and they prosecuted her as well.
Yeah.
They tried to come after a lot of us. We were part of a security detail during J6, and fortunately, our group had a lawyer and told them to pound sand. When they showed up at my door, I looked at them. I said, "Have you seen my jacket?" They're like, "Yeah, my military jacket." I said, "Did you read the redacted portions?" They're like, "Well, no, we couldn't get to this." Right, you couldn't get to the redacted portions of my military jacket. If a guy like me was going to, and one of the guys says, if you were going to do something, it wouldn't be on the internet.
That's right.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a nice day. Now go away.
It would not be, I would not talk about it on the phone.
Yeah.
I would not, there would be nothing sent via the email, nothing.
Yeah. That's, they stepped out of their league when they bothered our security group, because it was mostly old special operators and things like that.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. This is nuts.
This is crazy. This went way down the rabbit hole, but this is fantastic information because it applies to everything we talked about. You can see behind Pop on the board there is all of the various organizations that have assumed government power: ATF, EPA, OSHA, IRS, DOJ, DOD, FBI, Treasury. They've all assumed false governmental powers.
But this is where the swamp comes in, just so everyone understands. It's a 1/3, 2/3 rule. You have 1/3 of the people who make the laws, right? And then to enforce laws, you have the rules and regulations that they come up with, which, most of the time, they're not actually connected to the law. They're just rules and regulations that these alphabet agencies and bureaucracy that is installed and not elected, and they're going off the rail.
Here's the thing. Regulations do not carry the force of law. Regulations are meant for the body that created the regulations.
Well, like the EPA, they have all kinds of regulations. They show up at your work site, or it's a $200,000 citation for and they'll crush you.
But according to the law, as it is written, none of the regulations that the EPA creates are enforceable against civilians. Now, the FBI is pulling the same hokum when they're pushing regulations from their ranks on how to handle evidence and how to handle prosecutions and how to handle trials and all the stuff you were talking about, setting everything up like that. Those are internal regulations to the FBI. It's like when Pop and I were in the military. I was a staff sergeant. I can't walk up to a civilian and lock him up at parade rest. It doesn't apply to him.
Yeah.
He's not military. I don't have that authority. But organizations like the FBI and the EPA are assuming that authority and applying exactly that method. And that's a lot of what you saw with your 5 guys that are
the
stuck in
ATF
prison.
The ATF is flooding the Supreme Court with all kinds of cases, and it's all stuff that they just come up with these policies. Like
they just make shit up.
They're just making shit up.
Yes, they just make things up.
That's part of the 2/3 of the swamp, the bureaucracy that we have.
Well, and
have
I
to
think
live
part
with.
of that is too is they think they can get away with it because they do this stuff knowing that what they're doing is unconstitutional, but knowing that it'll take some time to actually make its way through the process, and in the meantime, they get to operate in that gray zone.
And also, they have no accountability and total immunity.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
give themselves immunity. The FBI has
this
their qualified
immunity
immunity.
is not supported by any laws. It's been made up by the 2/3 of the appointed. Some judge somewhere came up with the ruling of qualified immunity, and there you go. I mean, literally, like the George Floyd debacle, that one guy who got convicted of kneeling on that guy's neck.
Derek Chauvin.
Yeah.
He was convicted for three different murders.
What?
And he only died one time.
Yeah, and
That's
George
nuts.
Floyd didn't die until 9:24 that night at the hospital.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got you.
Um,
Yeah,
saying,
and you know they
control.
tried to take him out in prison. They had an inmate stab him in the prison law library who was an FBI informant who had been a CHS and who then right afterward declined to comment on what he'd done and why.
Yeah.
Somebody who was right about to get out too after serving a really long sentence. I don't know if you guys know that, which was really weird.
I didn't hear all of the details.
I didn't hear any
only
of
heard
this.
about the stabbing.
Yeah, I heard about the stabbing,
Hear
but I
about
don't know
the
the
stabbing.
details.
Yeah.
That just shocked me. At
Yeah, that was really brutal too because he had him up against he had him up in some area and Chauvin couldn't move. Every time he tried to turn backward, he'd get stabbed again. Basically, he was just kind of fucked there, you
he
know.
was cornered. Yeah.
Yeah, and that guy shouldn't even have been allowed to get into there at that time. He shouldn't have been in there.
Yeah. But what Pop said is true. He was convicted of what was it? Manslaughter,
second-degree murder,
second-degree murder,
manslaughter, and
another one that amounts to murder.
I think there was a second-degrry murder, manslaughter, and one other one.
Yeah, we'd have to go back and look at the charges, but
Yeah.
I know that it was 3 charges. Now, here's the thing that gets me. Somebody posted on the Blabs yesterday about the 80,000 people at the Trump rally, and I commented, we can get 80,000 people to show up at a Trump rally, but we can't get 80,000 people to show up at Congress to hold the FBI or something like the EPA accountable.
Yeah.
And somebody actually came at me over that. It's like, well, what are you doing about it? Blah, blah, blah. Well, actually, we do quite a bit here.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that I never publish online that I do locally that isn't criminal. Sit back down, FBI special agents, frickin' frack. It's not your turn.
Mm-hmm.
But what if we could get 80,000 people to show up for an FBI debriefing at Congress? What if 80,000 people showed up and demanded that audience? What could they really do about it? That's the pressure that we can apply. If we can get 80,000 people to show up at a Trump rally, why wouldn't you show up to take your damn country back?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be violent.
People
Just
don't
showing up
care.
will freak them out. You're
People
right.
don't care. They just don't care. You know, so many people have forgotten about the Michigan guys, or they say oh, weren't those guys acquitted? And I'm like, no, half of them are still in prison. Half of them have been acquitted, you know, but not all of them. And they forget that there's still people in there that are in there unjustly, and it's not right. But
There's no
people
dopamine
have
hit. They're not
10-second detention spans and
Wow.
everything, you know, they want everything to cater to whatever their personal interest is.
There's,
What
if
you're
there's
saying
no
is-
dopamine hit, they don't want to be there.
Well, the thing is, what you're saying
Yeah.
is correct, but they will start caring when their money goes to zero. They can't feed their families.
Yep.
They can't work. They're getting taxed into the poorhouse, living in the street. That's when they'll wake up. And unfortunately, once that happens, you're dealing with mobs. We're trying to head this off before it gets to that point.
Yeah, exactly.
But unfortunately, you know, if these people in the middle don't wake up and decide to, take back their country, it's going to turn into absolute pandemonium down the road, and it will be mob justice.
Yeah, and it can happen to other people, like what happened to the guys in Michigan. Many of them just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and that could happen to anybody. Given that situation, people have to remember it was a very unique time with the lockdowns, with the mostly peaceful protests that were occurring. there was a lot going on, and there was a lot of reason why people would want to attend meetings with other like-minded people, and why militia groups specifically would want to be meeting with other militia groups and hearing about what's going on in other states. And Brandon, for example, walked into a TEI, a terrorism enterprise investigation, in the middle of it, in while the investigation had already started, just because he got invited to an FTX, to do training.
One of the reasons that the lockdown protocols were completely shut down and just completely forgotten a year and a half, 2 years after they happened is specifically because the federal government and those state governments that are participating in that crap realized that they had overstepped and that the people were starting to organize.
Yep.
One of the reasons they shut because they had real nice control going. They had people doing what they wanted. They had them in neat little lines. They had them wearing masks and all of that stuff. But people were starting to organize on the peripheral, and the governments were seeing it. And I've seen some of the information on it. The federal government and the state governments backed way the hell off because they realized, whoop, they're not ready for that level of control yet.
I don't think we ever will be.
America is different to every other country in the world in that basically somebody took a couple of big buckets full of humans and went, let's see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's 9:22, man. We've been going for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I actually got to get going myself. I got to get my little one to bed.
But
we have a different definition of 10 to 15 minutes ratings.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you very much for all your time.
Please.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Us. If you need any help, just let us know. I mean,
I'm sure I will. I'll be in there. I'll be in Michigan soon. I'm sure everyone will hear about it.
Pop's going out of town for a couple of days. So if you need information on Michigan, right now is the time to ask me stuff like that, and I can look it up for you and send you that. So you know how to get in touch with me.
Yes.
All right.
Be happy to.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Wow. That was insane. And
one, she knows her shit.
Well, yes.
Two, she's very enthusiastic.
I like that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is the way I see it is our legal system is fucked.
Yes.
Because you have the people who are enforcing the legal system are completely immune from any mistakes they make or stepping over the line.
Zero accountability at all.
You cannot have a system sustain itself with zero accountability, because that's how you get fucking tyrants.
That's where we are.
Where we are.
We're at that doorway.
Yeah.
The door is open.
This is not going. And listen, if they have the digital currency and they start flipping switches and cutting people off, that's tantamount to killing somebody.
It will end in deaths. It absolutely will end in deaths.
Historically speaking, whenever a government goes off the rails, it always ends in radical amounts of bloodshed.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to happen. I want to be able to head this off before we get there.
I say this all the time. You say that, and I just want to raise my chickens, man. I really just want to be left alone to raise my chickens. Don't piss me off.
Yeah, we're too old to do anything other than run our mouth. There you go. We'll say no more.
A moment of heavy silence.
Yeah. We will say no more.
Say no more. Say no more. Phrasing
Phrasing.
or lack thereof.
But the thing is like we went down the list here. And this, I mean, seriously, think about it. We have an actual system put in place. They pass laws, House of Representatives, Congress, the president.
Yeah.
And then they implement these laws. And a lot of times they have to cook up a bunch of rules and regulations just to make the law fit and be enforceable. Well, if you don't pass it originally with that shit in there, it shouldn't be a law. You shouldn't hand it down to somebody to have to interpret it to make shit up, because guess what? Men are infallible. They make mistakes.
Men are fallible. You just said
they're fallible, whatever. It's a dyslexia system.
Okay, that's good. I'm good with that.
Like, for instance, the ATF. every week there's a different court hearing or something going on at the Supreme Court about, the tax stamp for the suppressors, the ghost gun frames. They called a piece of metal by itself a machine gun. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous.
ATF should be a convenience store, not a branch of government.
Yes.
I would agree. And what they came up with the ATF like during Prohibition was in the FBI during Prohibition.
I would have to go back and look, but
Okay.
I believe the ATF is not that old. It might be the 60s.
Well, what I'm trying to say is this: is some of these alphabet agencies are so powerful that we're gonna have to shut them down and rebuild them.
July 1st, 1972 is when the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives was founded.
I knew it was pretty recent.
Yeah, it's pretty recent. Okay.
Pretty recent.
Well, I mean, this is insane. I mean, we had the FBI. Remember Ruby Ridge?
Sure.
They shot that dude's wife.
They shot her while she was holding her
baby.
Then they shot one of his sons as well.
Yeah, I don't think I would handle that well.
He held it together a lot better than I would have. I'll tell
Yeah.
you that right now.
I
I would have gone hunting.
I would not have handled that well at all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I would have got quite a few of them before they ever got me.
Well, let's not talk like that. You don't know what.
Well, allegedly.
We're talking about an incident that happened in 1992, not a
Yes.
future event.
Yeah, okay. I'm just saying though.
I'm just saying, special agents frickin' fracks.
All I'm saying is I would not have handled that well.
No.
I would not have handled that well.
No.
He handled it way better.
Mm-hmm.
In all honesty, he handled it way better. So we originally started out to show how everybody has been sucked into a matrix that they didn't even realize was there. Radix came on and gave us a real serious dose of
Reality
legal system version of it.
Yeah.
This looks like we might even end up with a second show on this.
Yeah,
maybe
we might have
after you
to
get back.
carry over when I get back in
'Cause,
town.
Yeah, we still have quite a bit of stuff to go.
Well, plus there'll be more stuff for the next show
Yeah,
because this more information comes out every day about this insanity.
yeah, it's really true.
And just wait
Crazy.
until they turn over, the Ring cameras and all of the surveillance to AI to watch you 24/7, 365. If you think
Yep.
it's bad now, you just wait.
Yep. That, and whenever you the police happen to show up and question you, what's the first thing that they do when they see your Ring camera? They cover it.
Yeah,
That needs to stop.
yeah, I've seen a couple of SWAT videos of that where they cover
Yeah.
the cameras.
There was one, I can't remember precisely the predicament or the event that happened, but of course the ATF, it was ATF, I believe, they walked up and they saw ring camera, tape. One agent comes up, puts a piece of tape on there.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but that's no.
That's a no.
That's big no
Mhm.
because you are covering up evidence.
Yes. And also, if you think the police are different today than they were in the 70s, you're out of your mind. The only difference is now everyone has cameras today. That's why we're seeing a lot of these like excessive force lawsuits, civil rights lawsuits, because there's video evidence with sound in color, high definition.
Yep.
That's a whole show in and of itself. I feel I could refute your statement.
Yep. Well, it's both
Police then and now.
it's both a hindrance and a helping to both for and against the police. Yes, it will show. Yeah, this guy was flailing knives and coming at me, so I had to put 13 rounds in him to stop him. Okay, that's justified.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But when you're arresting someone and you're literally rubbing her face in a fire ant mound and she is screaming in pain and saying, move my face, I'm not doing anything. Yeah, we can understand that.
What about
those
dude in Phoenix? That cop made him like crawl around on the ground and then shot him for non-compliance and then got away scot-free.
There was a guy shot in a hotel hallway in a similar
Yes.
circumstances.
I saw that one too. Yeah.
Now, to compare, Uh-huh.
Here we go.
Back in like 1980, when I was a kid,
Uh-huh.
had to be 81. We lived in Alabama in 1980. There was a kid named Joel who got on dirt bikes early. And in Shelby Township, we had like one officer on duty, period. It was a neighborhood where you could leave your doors open in the summertime, screen doors open, cars unlocked, garage open. Nothing was ever touched, ever. It was a nice neighborhood. Joel would race his dirt bike up and down Chatsworth and wait for the officer on duty to show up, who would chase him around one of the lakes. And then Joel would ride off onto one of the dirt trails, and Officer Friendly would go back to whatever he was doing. Every Saturday for an entire summer, this played out.
Oh, nice.
Cop goes down. Nobody was, I think they were doing like 40.
Uh-huh.
But you could see the cop sirens and hear it and everything. And it became like this thing. And this people live out of with a beer, watching the cop chase the kid on the dirt bike. Everybody knew who he was.
Yeah, yeah.
Cops never did anything. It was just this thing that happened on Saturdays.
Huh?
Hey, they're going to chase Joel on the bike. That's the kind of difference that I'm talking about.
Yes.
Was that everywhere? No.
No.
Absolutely not. Cities like Detroit, absolutely some of the stuff you're talking about, but that's a whole different show.
Well, I know all of the Oak Park police knew where I lived. So, like the first time I ever ran from the cops, I was like 10.
Yeah.
And I remember it was a burger chef.
Oh,
And I'm walking there, and the guy's like, "Hey, empty your pockets." And I start running away. I mean, I'm maybe 100 yards away. And he's got his hands in his pockets. He's like, "Oh, so now we're running? We graduated to running now." Okay. And about a half an hour later, he's at my house. Come out here. Empty your pockets. I'm like, God damn it.
Good ages, man. That's good.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore, man. I'm just
We
saying.
need to get to the super chats.
Let's
I
get to
think.
super chats. Let's rip apart YouTube first, Jimmy.
Yep, we got 520 over there on YouTube, and we got 354 likes there. Could do a little bit better ratio there, but not enough to warrant a Hillary clip, I don't think.
Don't do that just
No.
Unless someone, convinces me.
Yeah. No.
Let's see. First one here is from Bailey Chazenstein with $5. In regards to my last super chat, I declare that the sacred right of it's not a war crime if it's the first time. Anyone make the Gottfried AI yet?
The Gottfried.
The Gottfried AI?
Gilbert
No.
Gottfried?
I haven't heard that. No.
I could imagine that Pop giving an ass chewing with Gilbert Gottfried's face.
Oh my God.
That'd be funny. Let's see. Ascension with $5. I've always been curious about this. What's the difference between a regular bank and a credit union? Which one is better? Mine is NASA Federal CU.
Yeah, I don't really I don't know what the regulations are between banks and credit unions. I myself use a credit union, but after hearing this debanking thing, I'm going to probably set up 2 or 3 alternates at different banks just in case I have to, in a spur of the moment, if some crazy shit happens, I could basically maneuver on a dime.
My knowledge of the banking industry would not quite fill this shot glass. My understanding is that credit unions are local and locally funded by the people who have accounts there.
Mm-hmm.
While they still require the FDIC insurance, they aren't as wrapped up in the rest of the banking system, and they're a little bit safer. They're just not able to hand out like loans for $1 million house.
No, yeah, I don't know that.
You're looking at a couple of grand.
I've never taken a loan from my bank at all. I just will not do it. Sorry.
Nope.
That's fine.
The only time I've taken a loan was for my vehicles. But then again, I had 2 hailstorms come through and total up my truck, and that paid it off. So,
well, I might, if my mother passes, I might have to take a personal loan and put her in the dirt. That'll suck, but what are you going to do?
Yep. Let's see. Next one here is Sean St. George with $5. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't denying the incarcerated access to a law center or law materials a constitutional violation?
Absolutely. It's absolutely a constitutional violation.
Especially if they destroy all your shit. And that I can guarantee you, when they moved those guys on a dime, all of their shit was shredded.
Earlier, one of the viewers mentioned that that's called diesel therapy when they do that to you. And I've heard that term before. So, you know who'd be able to tell us? HIP Hipwood.
Yeah. I hope she's doing okay.
She is. I
Yeah.
talked to her today.
Good.
Excellent. And next one, Magna Defender 98 with $5. It's 2024, and a small percentage of Americans still cover their faces. You think they get tired of that nonsense, but they don't have any IQ to begin with. Well, the majority of people that I see that are still covering their faces are protesting on college campuses about stupid bullshit 8,000 miles away and will have no impact.
There is an individual in the building that I work in that I saw without the mask one day, and I am glad that the individual wears the mask, frankly.
Well, let's just be honest. There's a lot of people out there I refer to as NPCs.
Yeah.
Non-player characters.
Correct.
They just exist.
Yep.
Take up air. You bump into them once in a while, but they are not in the game, and they're gone. And unfortunately, I had to cut a lot of those people out of my life.
Friends of ours.
Yeah.
Some of them mutual friends.
Yeah. I can't deal with
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
I can't do it.
All right, let's see here. That looks like that covers the YouTube chats here. We'll jump over to MGTOW or Rumble, not MGTOW, Rumble here. And the first one here from MGTOW Mando, he says, due to the hive mind, I call them school Borg.
School Borg, yeah.
I'm write that down. That's actually really good.
School Borg. And Mando coming back again. He says, Battle Dwarf, is your driver's license UN approved, aka real ID?
No.
I believe mine is because I had to cut through Canada so many times when I used to drive back to New York.
Yeah, you just got put over a barrel there. No, mine is not. I have no intention to travel anymore. I've seen most of the world, and I'm happy where I am. So,
Yep.
Well, let me see what the difference is.
I just plan on driving from state to state. I don't plan on crossing any international borders anytime soon.
Oh yeah, mine is the enhanced.
Yeah, then you have a UN ID.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, goody.
Mine says not suitable for federal identification, I believe. Yeah. Not for federal identification.
Great.
Mine says on it.
And Single for Life coming in, he says, Steve, we the people need to set up an organization like the Kingsmen.
Well,
in theory, that's lovely.
Yeah, but the minute you start organizing and doing stuff like that, you're going to wind up with some alphabet agencies. You're going to wind up in another law, going to jail, get thrown in prison, just like these individuals with Stretch and Gretchen.
Well, it's like what Radix just said. There were 4 guys who were basically just jaw jacking, and the FBI must have seen some of their chatter and said, "Let's set them up." You know, that's what happens with a lot of this stuff.
Especially if you have like 1 or 2 beers.
Yeah,
you get people always like jaw jack when they have a little bit, couple. I mean, you get some liquor in me, I talk mad trash.
Yeah.
No, it's totally not like I know someone that does that or anything.
All right, Jimmy. All right.
Let's see. Moving on here. Senior Airman Dick Fitzwell with $10. If you want to use a privacy respecting ID, present the cashier your U.S. passport card, not your passport. There's no private info besides your name and DOB on it, and yet it's valid for federal photo ID.
Oh, okay.
I'll bet you Speedway will not accept that.
Probably not.
Well,
but if you become a regular at the liquor stores, they just ask you your date of birth.
I normally don't even stop there. I normally don't even stop there at all. It was a fluke.
I mean,
that happened.
I usually go to the local Haji place right up the street. That guy knows me.
Right, exactly.
I walk in there. I'll take a gallon of whiskey. Yeah, sure. That's it.
Oh, Pop and I are in the local Haji place today. He's paying.
Oh,
for his
God
thing.
damn it! No.
To his left, there's an older female of the EBT set wearing colorful clothing. And I happen to be standing behind Pop a couple of steps, and she pays, and she looks over, she comes walking through, and she catches me watching her watch Pop. And she says to me, I had to peep that. And just kept going out the door. And I'm just standing there going, he just got EBT peeped.
You're such a dick, man.
You're so far over the hill that you're on the EBT menu.
All right,
Yikes.
I could take that. That's good burn. Quality.
That was a good one.
You should not
And
have-
got a Tantalum 180 coming in here. I hadn't even thought about the ID scans, and I'm pretty sure, and I'm a pretty paranoid son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I still have a flip phone. Thank you, Dwarf. Cheers and have a drink on me.
There you go. There you go. Thank you.
There you go. But yeah, it's I've always wondered that myself. It's like you look at you hand them your ID, they look at it, it literally says your date of birth, and then they have to scan it. It's
Yeah,
like,
That's correct. That is a federal crime, what they're doing.
yeah. There needs to be lawsuits on this because guess what? Money talks, bullshit walks.
Yes.
And if these companies get, sued for damages, they will stop.
I wouldn't hold my breath, but one can hope.
Yeah. Well,
Hope in one hand, shit in the other, as they say.
heard that many times.
Alley Card 1776 coming in says, Odin, hear my plea. Send a superstorm to the WEF and Davos bastards to be and send them to hell.
I would not cry if that happened.
Nope.
Yeah, I would not shed a tear.
Well, hopefully I live long enough to see some of these uber bureaucratic pieces of shit get their upcomings.
Well, I do too, but it's the people that are next in line is who I'm more afraid of.
Well,
Soros's son.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
See, Fan I Am coming in here. It's gone viral because she's a woman, a nice, innocent woman. Now something must be done.
Yeah. If that happened to me, nobody would give a shit.
Yep. And I did see this one earlier, so I am going to read it correctly. Mando coming in with $5. Jimmy, read this correctly. Everyone dismember to say hello to your assigned NSA monitor on your next phone call.
Well, hypothetically, they pretty much record everyone in the entire country, especially if you use certain keywords. And they can literally call up your conversations going back over a decade.
Really my job.
What
What I did.
I know. You can't talk about it here, but I got you.
So here's how
can-
it works. In any minute in the United States of America, there are approximately 2 million phone calls in a minute. Okay, do the math on there. They cannot listen to every single call. So what they have to do is target specific words, exactly like you said. They're looking for specific phrases. They're looking for specific areas that they know there's been trouble in. In the case of an event like January 6th, they can then go back and pull that data. They can record the majority of the traffic on phones. They can record it, and they usually pull from the big carriers. It's harder to get to the smaller carriers. They can pull from the big carriers, but they don't have enough human resources to go through every single call. It's simply not possible.
They will when they release it to AI.
Yep. But isn't it kind of funny how the federal government can use geo-tracking to hunt down all the J6 people, but yet somehow they can't do that with all of the similar people that may or also may not be caught up in the 2,000 mules.
We already showed the entire network for Antifa, and we covered that 2-3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so they look, if I can get a bunch of nugs who aren't even in the system to build that network, that the alphabet agencies have it.
Yep.
And they're just not doing anything with it.
That is correct.
And whenever there is something anti-government in the bad way, in the communist Bolshevik cocksucker kind of way, you can guarantee that Aunt Quifa will be there to show up and make a stink.
Yes, that is correct.
Ugh. God, them fucking soy boy fuckers. Let's see. Moving on. Tomahawk with $10. The show is absolutely rage-inducing. It is. I need another beer.
Thank you.
We wouldn't be doing our job.
Mission accomplished.
Yep. Says he needs another beer. He's also saying, keep up the good work, gentlemen.
Well, we're trying, man. We're trying.
Gentlemen,
Absolutely.
nobody listens to us, so
what are you gonna do?
Nope, we're just here to talk shit, drink, and speak the truth, and prevent you guys from evicting your meat suits prematurely.
hell yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Next one. Mando coming back again. When someone was wearing a mask complains about my Iraq cough, I tell them I don't engage with an NPC.
That's fair.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yep. Usually, whenever someone with them, like I see them every now and then. They're far and few between. But if they even come up to me and say, "Oh, you need to wear a mask," I'll be like, "You need to wear a special helmet because you're going to hurt yourself. Do you want some crayons?"
Yeah.
Make sure they're fat crayons, Jim.
Yeah. See, next one, Digital Do coming in here. Pop, you can opt out of digital banking, but you need to go in and talk to a manager or VP. Also search bankers manuals .pdf to get spun up. A passport card or book, even if you don't travel.
Interesting.
There you
Well,
go.
look into that.
Let's see. Professor Blake Pooh Ass Blaster 3000, one of my favorite screen names. This is what happens when you have a Democratic in the White House and these two hillbilly Hillary Clinton. Oh, God. I knew it was coming.
Here we go.
Oh, God. I was going to play some Gilbert Gottfried, but here
Inevitable. I hate that one.
I'm just glad we didn't have to submit the Radix to that horrific thing. That was
She seemed like a nice person.
She probably would have handled it pretty well.
yeah.
She seemed okay.
Yeah, she seemed pretty cool. I have been linking her YouTube channel in the chats there. I will do so again tonight. So if you guys want to go check her out, check her out. If not, it is what it is.
I really have been following her for quite some time.
Yep, there you go.
She's squared away. She does her homework, and she's a very detailed researcher.
Yep,
That's
she
cool.
is Battle Dwarf approved. So there you go, guys. See, Alucard 1776. He's saying hi to Jebediah, you glowy SOB. I didn't know the Amish could be federal agents.
Yeah, Agent Jebediah.
Jebediah.
You know?
Jebediah. See, Digital Blue coming back again. It says, Dwarf.
Yeah.
The NSA has never seen a network or cross-connect switch/closet they don't like.
That's a fair point, but I really did do that for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and now I have to kill MGTOW Mando.
You saw it too, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's no need to read or introduce it, but here you go.
Wow.
I hate that.
Sean St. George back in the YouTube chat. God damn it, Mando! Speaking of Sean, he jumped back in here with $5. I got asked if I was eligible for a senior discount today. I'm at least 15 years away from being eligible. Damn silver fox hair and beard.
Wow.
Yep. Get yourself some glutathione.
Glutathione.
It'll slow your aging down a lot.
Yeah.
Oh no.
What?
Oh no.
What?
Count Chad the Impaler. It's a good thing I haven't seen Billy Von Baum in the chat, but I know Crusader Nate's in the chats there.
Let's not have any of that.
He says somebody should make Hillbilly Hillary with Pop's face.
Stop! God damn.
That's brutal.
God, you guys suck.
Oh, that's that is nightmare fuel.
Yeah, that is
I-
a nightmare.
I think
but,
I think if that was to become a thing, my Night Terror Demon Kevin would put in his 2 weeks, which kind of sucks. He's a good dude. He's a good dude. Let's see here. Jump back over here to Rumble. Make sure we're not missing anything.
Card dropped a 5.
Alucard is wanting some box wine and Catland. Alrighty. Well, you know what? We'll go with the short one here.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square. Stop!
You came up
Two in a-
with box wine and Catland?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then Blake took it and made videos and shit. It's hilarious. And I also came up with 40 to 80 is a long fucking time.
It is a long fucking time, though.
Yep. See here. Clip 3188 and Broken Pine have similar requests here. I don't have them, but maybe the Battle Dwarf can find them. They're asking for the ball snap fart or woman dragged by her
I
dogs.
don't even know what those are. I do not have Blake's 17th level caster abilities.
Yeah, I got it's
I'll have to get with Blake here pretty
will
soon.
IoT.
I'll have to add those to the lineup here.
we'll get
those. Yeah, we'll get those added up there pretty here quick.
I need to do a day with Blake sitting here behind me, slapping me in the back of the head until I learn where all this shit is.
Yeah.
Fuck it up.
Yeah.
Let's see. Looks like last one over here on Rumble from Professor Blake Poo Ass Blaster 3000 says, "Hey Pop, I just saved a friend from getting married a couple days ago because he was unsure." I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
Set him down. Watch these videos by Pop. And all of a sudden, he called it off because she was cheating.
Damn. I saved another guy. All right.
I hate Darren's Pop!
Well, listen, have him tell her to write me some hate mail because I need more hate mail.
Yeah.
Yeah. More hate mail, please.
So entertaining.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, it's always good. Single for life. He's asking for something. Something you don't know what he's asking for until it shows up.
Oh,
Kind of
no.
like a crazy Latina carrying a big blue dildo.
Yeah, there you go.
God.
Things happen.
Oh man, let's see here. All right, we'll jump over here to Odyssey over here. We got 30 over there. I was actually going to try to bring this up before Radix took off, but she took off a little too quickly. But Woo Woo is saying, "Preach, Coral Gnome," and he is asking Radix if she still does coffee.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Not sure.
Not sure.
And
I read her stuff and watch her videos. I haven't. This is the most that I've ever actually interacted with her beyond commenting on a post or something like that.
Yep. Her YouTube channel is Radix Verum, just like what you guys saw earlier. So be sure to check her out, listen to her. Seems pretty good. Tell us what you think. And we got a Backblast Not Clear. Wonder who this is. Says, what's up, butt fucks, dick shuckers, and glop glucks? Shit is fucked, but it will always come back and bite the hand that loosed it. Like Newton's third law, every action there will be an equal and opposite reaction. They fuck around, they will find out eventually. Anyways, I'm done. Fuck off!
Fantastic.
Good to see you there, Jackal. See, and Caleb on with 2 in a row here says credit unions are where the depositors, account holders, are the investors. And second one here are globalists. Also, globalists do not like credit unions for that fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's see. I had a couple more jump over here on Rumble here. LB Weaver, how about the FM radio LP version?
Of what?
Yeah.
Drops a
He's got a YouTube link there, but the problem is, and we've mentioned this before, we don't like to click links on the show because we have been done dirty before.
Yeah.
that is the he linked the long version of Billy Von Baum's Box Wine and Catland.
Oh, okay.
That was the long version.
Okay.
That was the long version. That one we could play, but we'll treat you with that maybe later. Digital Do here with $2. Billy Von Baum should edit some prawn and put Pop's face on the chick just long enough for the dirty monkey slappers register in their brain pan.
That's brutal.
God damn.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
I think Pop would have some words to Billy Von Baum if he did do that, and I think they would probably sound a little bit like this.
You shrimp dick fuck.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Billy has a death wish, but I'm pretty sure if he edited Pop's face on some Ornpay,
Yeah.
there might be some words.
I could just see some Indian college student at University of Michigan spanking to a porn and Pop's face shows up. Hey, what did I just see? What happened to me? What did I just see?
Oh no. Let's have none of that.
None of that.
That's some lawsuit shit right there.
That's lawsuit shit right there.
Oh yes, showing me the Bob's in the Virgin vote. Bob's in the Virgin. What in the fuck is that?
That was perfect.
That was pretty good, man.
Thank you. Come again. Let's see. Let's see. You jump back here on Odyssey here. Big Mike's raging rectum wrecking purple-headed prostate puncher.
Wow.
That's a mouthful.
Yep.
That's
also what Barry said. Still broke as shit. Good evening, everybody. Just got home from my once a month school board meeting.
Nice.
Or is what MGTOW Mando would say, school board. That took a whole 4 hours of my life. Gents, please run for office and stomp the commies out of our government. Okay. This is not a joke. Get out there and participate in our republic.
Unfortunately, because of my presence on the internet for the past 15 years, more than likely that'll never happen for me.
Yeah.
Yep, that will be bad times.
Yeah, but you know, everything has its trade-offs.
Yeah.
I got 500 lives out of it, so
there you go.
Yep. There you go. All right. Let me just double check here. We still got a couple more coming in over here on Rumble. Alucard 1776. Here's a good idea. Put those top globalists in the woods with the dogman and watch the show.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Or the skinwalkers.
I in theory would participate in something like that. In a perfect world of year-round hunting and public beer fountains.
Yep. Yep. And Mile High Rodin coming in with $5. Good shit, Pop. Thank you, sir, and salute.
Thank you.
Alrighty. And Digital Do here. Pop, could you give people the knife hand and motivational speech?
I do that all the time. I just filmed a knife hand for a guy.
Did you? That's outstanding.
Yeah, his son is fucking up by the numbers.
Oh.
It was like a 3-minute knife hand. You asked him.
Wow. Yeah. That's what they need.
Yeah.
Nice. All righty. Let's see here. Double check here over on Odyssey. Make sure. Yep, we are all good there. And we'll jump over here to MGTOW.tv. How's the taps in the chat there tonight? We got Granny stroking a sausage.
We can stop right there.
That's the scene from Beer Fest.
That's fine though, but crazy.
But yeah, there's a couple nice little booties in there already.
Yep.
So we jump over here and this one comes from Mungo Harry with our first "We're Not Worthy" of the night with $50 here. Let me scroll up here.
Thank you very much.
Where's that? There it is.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
And I have to share this one.
Which one?
It is a it's a comic for Blake. Fisto, Captain Blakey Pooh's favorite character.
Fisto.
Fisto, my friend, are you all right? Here, let me help. Lift to your feet. I fisted hard, He-Man, but I could not fist them all.
I'm gonna go home.
That's pretty good, man. Straight up thug life, man.
Why would you want to put your fist in there?
Nope. Stop right there. We're all done with that conversation now. Thank
Yeah.
you. Moving along.
Moving on. Mountain Man 9395 here with $5. It says you have a U.S. federal government has 2 million employees plus 10 million exclusive contractor employees and have way more authority against the Constitution and protected immunity by against the other 320 million people who have little to no power to fight it.
That needs to stop.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yep. Also, we have 38 over on MGTOW.tv. Don't think I covered that. Got 28 over on Odyssey. And I'm sure Rumble is kicking YouTube's ass with 814 viewers. We got 469. Nice. Over on YouTube.
All right.
And we'll jump over here to D-Live. We got 8 over there. No lemons tonight. Got 8 over on Twitch. And on the new tech platform, on nicecrew.tv, we have 6.
There was 8.
There was 8.
Off, I guess. Yeah.
There was 8.
And there are some gentlemen in there with some interesting scream names.
Yes.
I cannot say them, nor will I repeat them. But, glad you guys are over there having a good time.
We got Long Shot Triple just threw us $25. Says keeping on, gents. Great show.
Thank you so much.
Hell yeah.
Followed by Digital Do One with a $2 says, my sister saw an old lady today after blood work, then barbecue. She commented that dude has a gut. I was like, that's a braless, big, saggy titties old lady.
We did get a Cash App, but he requested that we don't use his name or the amount. It says for no announcement in the amount needed.
For the anonymous donation from the anonymous person.
Oh, nice.
We thank you.
Thank you.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Thank you so much, man. It's much appreciated.
You guys are awesome. All righty. Let's see here. It does not look like we had any other Cash Apps come in here. Let me just jump back through the chats here. Looks like YouTube is all caught up, and it looks like, yeah, we got 423 likes over there. Okay, you guys are learning.
All right.
Keep the likes up, or else you get the Hillary. And I hate the Hillary. I hate doing it to you guys.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Don't do it. We're good.
We're good.
No, I think we're good.
All right.
See, let's see, MGTOW.tv is all caught up. So I believe, Pop, we are ready to close out the evening with.
We have one more from Tomahawk.
Yeah.
Oh, we have one more from Tomahawk. Where's he at?
$5 down on Rumble at the bottom.
See, to clarify, this show isn't rage-inducing, but the episode is. French Revolution comes to mind.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, historically speaking, I mean,
yeah,
that's what they're going to get.
Yeah.
You want to get Adolf? You keep doing what you're doing. That's how you get Adolf.
Do you want to become the next Marie Antoinette? Because this is how you become the next Marie Antoinette. Just saying.
Yeah. All right, we're all caught up there.
I believe we are all caught up there, Pop. So we need safety briefing.
All right, everybody, here's your safety briefing. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and swim. Never works out for you. If you absolutely must fornicate, wear a condom, take it with you, or flush it down the toilet and watch it go all the way down because craziness will ensue. If you have to engage in any type of conflict, do everything in your power to break contact and run away. If you cannot run away and it goes to fisticuffs, do not go to the ground because that is where you get stomped out. Rack up, pack up, and stack up because there's safety in numbers. Maintain your situational awareness because if somebody is going to attack you, something in your environment will have changed. And it's up to you to see it. That's it, gentlemen.
All righty. And Battle Dwarf, any final parting words from you, good sir?
Dwarf is NSTR.
Roger that. All righty. Well, this has been the Live from the Lair on the Tuesday edition. Thank you, Radix, for showing up and giving us a very insightful conversation on that. That was
fucking.
I was just sitting here with my microphone muted, and I'm like, "Holy shit! I thought shit was fucked before."
That can't be right. Oh my god!
I know. I was getting DMs on Facebook from people who watch this show. They're like, "That can't be legal. That doesn't sound right. That's fucked up." And,
Yeah.
and all I can say is, "Yep,
That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and we're gonna end it just a little bit different than we normally do. I'm gonna play a clip here. Well, when it comes to the conspiracies and whatnot, well, for the past 5, 6, 16, 26 years, give your conspiracy friend, your tinfoil hat wearing friend, a hug, because you know what?
Fuck you! I was right! Fuck you! I was right! Fuck you! I was right!
we need to get him on the show, man.
Who is that?
It's Rageaholic.
Rageaholic. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All righty, gents. And as always, keep your powder dry, keep your bullets plentiful, and the cootie juices off your dishes.
Definitely keep the goody juices off your dishes.
Take it easy.
All right.
I can't do it! I can't!